It's fascinating. Today we are going to speak about script writing and how to write films and how to direct films. And let's explore what a script writer style looks like. Catherine, could you please introduce yourself and what do you do with writing?
Hi, I'm Katherine. I write scripts, I write books. Yeah, that's what I do.
How long have you been writing?
I've been writing since I was young. I was around 14 when I wrote this 14 pages, 7 pages front and back of this story. And it was about this kid and flying and dragons and stuff like that. It's really very interesting, but I ended up converting it recently because it was on this paper that got ruined. But I fixed it. I put it in water and rinsed it, so now I can see all the writing and everything. So now I transferred it over onto a Google document, and it's really cool seeing your old work from back then. But yeah, that's way back then, and in between, very little writing, but I did do a little bit. And then as I moved forward in, I think it was last year, is I found, no, it wasn't last year, it was at the end of 2018, I found a lump on my right breast. And it horrified me. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I I thought I might be dying. I went to the doctor. I went and I got tests, everything. It took 6 months. It took 3 months to get the test. So by the time in October, then it was December, and as soon as December hit, I was extremely depressed. I was down, and I didn't know what to do. So I decided, you know what, I need to get this out. I need to write something. So I started writing, and I through 6 months I pushed out my first book. So it's really yeah.
So, how did writing help you feel better or overcome these difficult times?
It allowed me to put those emotions and write them and put them into my story. I have a lot of my life experience that's inside that story, and it's so freeing having that stuff out. And it's yeah, I can't wait for people to read it.
What is the book called and what is it about?
The book is Adrian. It's about a 13-year-old transgender kid, and the kid is has an eidetic memory, and the character is losing that eidetic memory. So she used to be able to like take these photographs of real life through her brain, and that she can't do it anymore. And so she's living through the aftermath of that and trying to get along with her life. And she's also dealing with this transgender thing and coming out to her parents. Yeah, I'm so happy about this book.
Why do you think this book is important?
I think it's important just to get the experience, this transgender experience itself out, and let people know about that. And and it's all from a first person perspective. It's not this third person where you're sometimes seems like you're far away from it all, but this is in first person, so you get to not feel the feelings, but as close as you can.
Let's go to the year 2003.
Yeah, and
Is it important for you?
yeah, in 2003, it was a really important year for me. A lot of bad things happened that year. There was a car accident. I was on my way home. I was making pizza back then. I love cooking, so that's one of the things I love to do. But I got in an accident on the way home. It was a 70-mile-per-hour collision. Someone ran into me. I hit the divider, and the hood popped up in front of my vision, so I couldn't see. And I ended up hitting the divider, and then because I couldn't see, I ended up veering and hitting the divider on the other side of the freeway, and then I ended up stopping, and it put the fear of I fear of God. I don't know what you would call it, but I was scared as heck. And then that was like the first event that happened, and then a little bit down the line, my best friend's wife died. And the funny thing is we went and we saw her and him get married that same year, and then a week later that's when she died. So they were getting married so that they could be married and before she dies. So it was very romantic. So as soon as she died, he got extremely depressed, my best friend. So I decided, I'm going to move out there. So I moved out there. I picked everything up. I got all my stuff, and I moved out to Sacramento, up north, because I'm in Southern California. And I stayed there with him for a month. I cleaned up their computer because that's what that's what I learned how to do. I'm really good with computers. So I cleaned up their computer. I hung out with my best friend for a month, and him and his son, because he has a son, and I kind of used his son in a way to help him say, you know what, you have something to live for. You have someone who needs you. So I ended up that helped in the long run. But while I was doing that, and sort of in the background, that past event of me being in that car crash kind of still had that little thing in my brain saying, you know what, you almost died. You almost died there was like a few months ago, you almost died. So I started thinking, you felt different, strange your whole life. That's why I felt myself. So I was like, why? So I started Googling like all these things about why do I feel like I want to be a girl? Because I was a boy back then. And so I looked it up, and I found this website by Melody Ann Phillips. And she had these journals talking about her transition and from male to female. And it was just so interesting that I needed to, I found it was like the eureka moment. It was the, yes, that's me. That's how did she know? So that's what I ended up, after that, I knew I had to get home. I knew I had to change my life. So I did. And I went home, and I quit my job, even though I had gotten the time off to go visit my friend for a month because his wife had died. But I quit that job right away. And then, of all places, I went to work at Wendy's. And then that's when something even worse happened. I was upstairs reading, and my brother and he had a bunch of friends over, and that's when two people burst into our house and shot my brother's friends, and I lucked out by being upstairs. It was another horrifying moment in my life. It's just so hard to get through, but it just sort of reinforced this thing that I need to do this before I'm gone. It was like a huge kick in the ass. And then that friend that was up north, he moved back down here. And that's when I started reading about some transgender fiction and stuff like this with this Ellen Hayes. She is such a good writer, and I think she might be dead, but I'm not 100% sure. All I can get are these little confirmations from people on websites saying that they're keeping up her website as a memorial. So that pretty much says that she's probably dead, but I have to thank her so much because I pretty much adopted her style and then twisted it with my own. So now I'm using her her work is an example, and then now it's all a part of my own. So back in 2018, that time between that 3-month period between October and December, I binge read her whole online series, and that's part of what actually got me writing as well. That the book Adrian.
How do you feel now?
Oh, I feel so much better getting all this stuff out. It's just a very freeing experience. Very freeing experience.
If you are speaking to other people who have or who go through similar experiences, what would you say to them?
Uh, you're not alone. Uh, you can get help if you need it. Use the internet. The internet is a huge resource. If you're in another country, there's usually some sort of resource you can contact, someone who you can contact to help you. If you're in the U.S., the Planned Parenthood, they will help you. They will get you hormones if you need hormones. They will get you the things you need to help you transition. They will get you they'll find therapists for you, and they especially in California, the whole healthcare system for trans people is pretty much free. You can do this if you have to make a certain amount of money, but so if you make over something like $1,200, no, is it $1,500 or somewhere around there, then you can get it. If you make under that, sorry, but yeah, you can get this this healthcare, the California Medi-Cal. So yes, definitely get help if you need it.
What message does Adrian give?
Adrian gives a unique story, my story, a lot of my story in this book. Just it's about, of course, this 13-year-old kid, and she's coming out to her best friends. Uh, like her, my best friend lives here in California with me, and my other best friend lives in Northern California. So I did the same sort of thing for that character, and you can just get the unique experience from my life and from this character's life, and you get an insight into the transgender mind. You really do. You'll
Let's,
even get these little dysphoria things going. It's really nice.
let's get to your writing style. How much do you practice?
I write every single day. If I'm not writing, I'm editing. So I kind of count editing as writing as well, because writing is rewriting and rewriting is pretty much editing. So I write every single day. I prefer writing in first person, but I'm learning to write a little bit better in third person. I'm converting like the prologue of the book right now into to third person, and the epilogues also I'm converting to third person right now. So because uh, for other writers, try not to write in first person for the prologue, because it confuses where the main story starts and where um, the the prologue ends.
Is it easy to become a professional writer? I mean, does it
Oh.
take a short time or a long time?
Well, it took me 6 months to write this book, writing every single day. And that's what you do as a writer, is you write. But what you're going to have to do is, as a writer, you're going to have to self-promote. You have to go to LinkedIn. You have to go to YouTube. You have to go everywhere. You have to start a podcast. You have to just put yourself out there on every platform you can, and just talk to people, let people know who you are as a writer, as a person. Talk about your favorite things. It's all about letting people get to know you, and bringing you to them, so that they want to not just read your book because your book's good, but read your book because they like you as well.
Do you think you have done good service to Adrian so far?
I think so far, yeah. I think so far.
Let's get deeper into your writing style. How do you define your writing style?
So what I write is what I like to call slice of light. So usually slice of life is what it would be called, but slice of life doesn't really have a plot. It doesn't have a direction it's really going. It's just focusing on some inanimate thing or just some minute thing that, but me, I call it slice of light because I add these little these goalposts. I add these little things, but you're still getting, it's like it's a life, the life of this person. And the whole of the first book is only 11 days.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
What are the challenges of being a writer?
Oh, I guess the main challenge is writing. A lot of people, they'll have a problem. They just sit down and they'll look at a blank page and they can't write. They can't do it. They'll just sit there and they're like, "What do I do?" See, so what I do, I end up I just write a word, any word, and then I write another one, even if they don't go together. I keep writing words, and then they finally go together. I'll just delete that line, and then as they're still going, it starts to form a story. You start pushing forward and forward, and I'll do that, and it helps with writing big time. And I've written so many stories like that.
Where do you see yourself in the future?
In the future, I see myself as definitely probably self-published writer, and yeah, hopefully I can get this spread out to the world, and if they're interested in a trans kid, or I have another book I'm writing too called Ghoul. It's about a ghoul that that starts transforming back into a human, and I don't think people have seen that sort of transition for even a creature going backwards from ghoul to human. And then it's a really interesting premise. The character, after she completely transfers back to a human, she doesn't remember being a ghoul, so she ends up thinking she was just on a date, and it's actually hundreds of years in the future, and vampires have taken over. It's really interesting. I have that also, bits and pieces of that I write on my blog, and that's just author KatherinePhillips.com. Katherine with a K.
Okay, about your writing style, like how much professional is it? Do you do regular practice, regular training?
Yes, there's several different things I do. On every first and third Tuesday of the month, I have a writer's critique group. We submit 3 pages, and on that writer's critique group, other people read through those 3 pages, and then I read through their 3 pages, and then we give constructive criticism, and then we give how much we liked it, because we don't want to seem like bad people. We just want to say, we also want to make sure that they're encouraged, and we want them to keep writing. We want our group to keep writing. And I'm also in a readers group, and we read scripts. And I've been using that to sort of practice my screenwriting. And I've actually done a few films just from learning this stuff myself. It's really nice. And I actually, back in 2011, got Bitcoin. I got about half a Bitcoin, and I sold the Bitcoin in 2008 or 2018. Sorry, 2018. I sold that Bitcoin, and I bought a bunch of camera equipment and stuff like that. And it's like lighting, camera, audio, this audio right here. And yeah, so I've been using that, and we've been going out and recording short films with another group that I joined that was in Fontana.
Do you think you are in the position that you like yourself to be?
Um, I like the way I'm at, but I think I can go further. I think I can definitely go further. I'm going to in the future definitely pursue because in these, I don't know if you know, in these readers groups that I'm in, there was someone from NBC there. There was someone that owns a production company, and I'm in contact with them. So when they're hiring, I'm definitely going to talk to them. And since I'm going twice a week, I'm definitely going to know when they're hiring because they at the end of the session they will talk about that.
When would you say that you have reached your goal, your dream in this profession?
Ooh, well, this the Adrian series that I'm bringing out, that I want to get that series done, and that's going to be at least 4 books, and I have at least 3 or 4 other books that I want to get out. So once I at least get probably 5 or 10 books out, I'll feel like I've done really well.
What do you need till you reach this area or this stage?
Time, time to just write and move forward, and I'm writing every single day, so it's going to happen, and I'm really excited.
About you personally, what do you want people to know about you that they don't know or that they don't appreciate about you?
Ooh, that they don't know or don't appreciate about me. Um, I don't I don't know about that one.
Okay, so another difficult question. Do you think
Yeah.
that life has been unfair to you?
No, I think I've had a very privileged life. Um, I've lived with my parents for a really long time, and it's been a really privileged because my mom's a school teacher and she's been able to do this and help me along. And my brother's living with us. There's 11 people living in our house right now. It's insane here half the time. But yeah, I've lived a very privileged life. I don't think I haven't had to fight I like a lot of people other people have, and I feel bad about that. I really do.
Why?
Why? Because it doesn't seem fair, you know. It doesn't seem fair to them, and and that's kind of why I'm for like a basic income for people. I like a UBI, universal basic income. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's uh, recently it's become a little bit more popular because Andrew Yang has been talking about it, and I'm a big fan of Andrew Yang. Um, yeah, so I'm really in for. I'm all about. I want everyone to be equal, and I think that would be a huge step in the right direction for a universal basic income. And a lot of countries are looking at this right now.
Great. What else would you like to say?
Well, go ahead and visit my blog. It's author Katherine Phillips, PHILLIPS.com. And yeah, check out the blog. I write excerpts. I talk about how much I love technology. I haven't talked about Bitcoin yet, but I'm going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. I talk about film. It's really enjoyable. Definitely drop by.
Yeah, would you like to add anything else?
Ooh, I think that's it. I think that's it.
It has been more than perfect, more than courageous, more than great speaking with you, Katherine. I really appreciate your brave input and help for other people. Thank you so much indeed.
All right, thank you.